What if I told you reaching 50 with little retirement savings does not have to mean financial disaster, but doing nothing might? Millions of people are approaching retirement worried they'll never have enough. But what if the problem isn't just how much you saved? What if it's the strategy you've been using? Welcome back to Money Smart Basics. I'm Alfonso, where we focus on practical strategies to help you build wealth, protect your future, and make smarter money decisions. If you're 50 or older and wondering how to catch up for retirement, or you know someone who is, stay with me. Because in this video, we're going to cover why the old retirement model may be failing many people, big money moves that can help you catch up faster, a strategy for rebuilding when time feels short, and why building income systems may be just as important as saving. And before we get started, let me ask you a question. Are you still carrying buckets, or are you building a pipeline? Let's get into it. The retirement crisis no one warned you about. What if I told you millions of people over 50 are approaching retirement without enough savings to survive? They did what they were told, worked hard, paid bills, raised families, trusted the system, and yet many now face a painful question. Will I ever be able to retire? For decades, retirement stood on what President Franklin D. Roosevelt called a three-legged stool: Social Security, pensions, personal savings. But one leg weakened, pensions disappeared, and suddenly workers were told, you're on your own. Save through a 401k, hope the market works, hope you saved enough, hope inflation doesn't crush you, hope healthcare doesn't wipe you out. That's a lot of hope, and not much certainty. Maybe that's where you are. Maybe you look at your numbers and think, I'm too late. I've missed my chance. But what if the problem isn't just savings? What if you've been taught only half the equation? What if retirement is not only about what you save, but what you build? Stop looking at pennies, start looking at big leaks. Most people focus on small expenses, coffee, coupons, skipping lunch. But big money is rarely found in tiny cuts. It is found in major moves: housing, transportation, debt. Let me tell you a story. Imagine two buckets. One has a small leak. The other has a hole in the bottom. Which do you fix first? The big hole. That is what housing and transportation often are. Maybe downsizing saves $500 monthly. Maybe eliminating one car saves $400 monthly. That could be $900 a month. That is $10,800 a year. That is not pocket change. That is strategy. And here is where many people miss the deeper truth. Reducing expenses does two things. It increases what you can save and lowers what you need in retirement. That is powerful. That is leverage. How to catch up when time feels short. Let's be honest. If you are behind, you cannot afford random moves. You need priorities. First, capture every employer match. If your employer matches contributions, that is not ordinary money. That is leverage. That is instant return. Second, attack high-interest debt. A 20% credit card can work against you harder than many investments can work for you. Third, use catch-up contributions. After age 50, the government allows additional retirement contributions. Use them. Fourth, separate emergency savings from what I call a shrinkage fund. Tires, repairs, birthdays, known expenses. Those are not emergencies. Plan for them. Protect your real emergency fund. And now, let me challenge a belief. Saving alone may not be enough. Let me show you why. To generate $4,000 monthly income, that is $48,000 a year. Using the 4% rule, 48,000 times 25 equals 1,200,000. That means roughly $1.2 million invested. That is a big target. But what if you built a system producing $2,000 monthly? Now your savings requirement drops dramatically. That changes the conversation. Savings only path. Need $1.2 million system plus savings path. Build $2,000 monthly income. Need far less capital. That is where systems begin to matter. Don't just save water, build a pipeline. I've told this story before. Two men carried buckets of water to a village. One kept carrying buckets. The other started building a pipeline. At first, The bucket carrier looked smarter. He made faster money, less risk, less struggle. But over time, the pipeline produced more water to more people with less effort. Then he expanded it to other villages. That is the power of systems. A system can be dividend income, a small consulting business, affiliate income, rental income, a YouTube channel, even a network-based business. The point is not the vehicle. The point is leverage. Systems can keep paying after labor stops. That is the difference between income from effort and income from structure. And that may be the missing leg in retirement. Not just Social Security, not just savings, but systems. That may help hold the stool together again. Retirement is not just a money problem. Let me tell you something people do not talk about enough. Retirement is not only a financial transition, it is a psychological transition. Because many people prepare for leaving work, but do not prepare for what comes after work. And that can be dangerous. Why? Because a person can retire financially and still struggle emotionally. Loss of identity, loss of routine, isolation, fear, and sometimes poor financial decisions made out of anxiety. I have seen people take Social Security too early out of fear, pull money from retirement accounts too fast out of panic, or make risky investment moves, trying to catch up overnight. That can be costly. But there is another side. Purpose can be a form of protection. Activity can be a form of wealth. Community can be a form of strength. And sometimes, the very income system you build can also give you meaning. Consulting, teaching, writing, helping others, a small business, even a YouTube channel. Not just income, purpose. And purpose matters in retirement. Because when you have a reason to get up, a mission to pursue, a contribution to make, retirement becomes something you move into, not something you fall into. That changes everything. Because the goal is not merely to stop working. The goal is to keep living well. Retirement risks beyond money, loss of identity, isolation, fear-driven decisions, emotional stress, retirement strength builders, purpose, community, activity, income systems with meaning. And once you understand retirement is both financial and personal, then the next question becomes, what do you do next? Let's talk about a reset plan. The retirement reset plan. Your next 90 days could change everything. If you feel behind, do not panic. Do not freeze. Reset. Start with 90 days. The next 90 days. Not the next 20 years. The next 90 days. Month 1. Audit everything. Every bill, every debt, every subscription, every leak. Find the big holes. Month 2. Increase contributions. Capture the employer match. Attack high-interest debt. Build or rebuild emergency reserves. Month 3. Start building one income system. Just one. One idea, one experiment, one pipeline. Do not try to build 5. Build 1. Remember focus. Following one course until success. And remember luck. Laboring under correct knowledge. This is not about perfection. It is about momentum. Small, consistent moves can create big, long-term change. And here is what I want you to hear. Being behind does not mean you are finished. It may simply mean you need a better strategy. Retirement may not be rescued in one decision, but it can be rebuilt through many wise ones. Starting now. 90-day retirement reset days 1 through 30. Find leaks, cut expenses, rework cash flow. Days 31 through 60. Increase saving, reduce bad debt, capture matches. Days 61 through 90. Start one income system, test one pipeline, build momentum. Do not just carry buckets, start building your pipeline. If this message hit home, type pipeline in the comments and ask yourself, am I only carrying buckets or am I building a system? Because retirement may not depend only on how much you save, it may depend on what you build. I want to invite you to go deeper. I created both the book and companion workbook, Debt-Free in Jesus' Name, to help you move from information to real transformation. This isn't just motivation, It's a step-by-step biblical blueprint designed to help you break the cycle of debt, strengthen your mindset, and build a foundation for long-term financial freedom. The book will teach you the principle, and the workbook helps you actually apply them, with practical tools like budgeting guides, debt payoff strategies, and personal reflection exercises. If you're ready to become a better steward of what God has placed in your hands, the links are in the description. Start your journey toward peace, discipline, and financial freedom, one decision at a time. Remember to like and subscribe for more Money Smart Basics videos. If you have any suggestions for financial literacy topics, please leave a comment. The information provided in this content is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial, legal, or tax advice. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor, tax professional, or legal counsel before making any financial decisions. The creator of this content is not responsible for any actions taken based on the information provided. Investments and financial decisions carry risk, and past performance does not guarantee future results.